Well, hello and welcome back to another episode of Wisdom Wednesday. Yay! Here we are. Before I go any further into this video, please make sure that you like and subscribe and smash that notification bell so that you know exactly when I upload a new video.
Subscribe now.
I tend to do it every Wednesday, but sometimes I add a little bit of extra. So you want to be aware of that when it happens. Okay, so let's roll into this week's video. Okay, so this week's video, as you saw in the subject header, the evolution of making decisions. Now, the reason why I think this is really, really important is because a lot of times we make decisions somewhere in our beginning stages of running our business. And this actually, let me point out too, that this has to do with any decisions that you make. So let's be really clear. You could be running a business and listening to this information for that, but you could also be just a regular old person like all of us. And we are continually making decisions about our life. So this becomes really important to be able to pay attention to the fact that our decisions evolve. And the decisions that we have made in the past may get to a point where they no longer work and we have to revise. This is why I always say that, like POBA and my businesses and all these other things that I'm doing is like Disneyland. It's never done. That's kind of what I always say. It's like Disneyland, it's never finished. Because things are always evolving. And I think the secret to success in life is just to be willing to evolve and change. So we make these decisions, regarding our lives, our relationship, our businesses early on. And then somehow we think that we have to just lock into these things. And if we once made that decision that, well, it should always feel the same. It should always feel great. But the truth is that all of the decisions that we made were based on other circumstances and situations, and even us being different and being willing to make that decision back then. And maybe now we don't really want to do some of the same things that we made decisions for, or maybe the decisions we made back then don't really work for us anymore. And so we get this kind of yucky feeling going. And really all that means, you guys, is that it's time to relook at the old decisions that we made and decide what new decisions we need to make to adapt. I'm going to give you an example of that. I kind of, with POBA, always was giving out certificates. And in the really early beginning, it was all, what do you call that? Honor system. People would come to me, they'd reach out to me and say, hey, I completed my course. I would love my certificate. And the honor system is, I believe you, so you get your certificate. Well, as business went on and I was getting a lot more, I felt a different sense of responsibility as POBA became more legitimate. It was like, oh, I better start checking these things. I better make sure. I kind of put little things in place to be able to check in on these things and make sure that everyone I'm giving a POBA certificate to actually finished the course. And for a long time, everybody was really pretty honest about it. And then it got so big that now, anytime that you have something that goes from a little bit of communication to a lot of communication, it means that you're going to have the gambit of different experiences with people. And what I started to find out is that there were a portion of people that were deceptively requesting certificates when they knew they didn't finish it at all. Now, if I didn't want to evolve my original thinking that everything was on the honor system, then I would spend all my time trying to, go through, and I'm going to teach you a new phrase here, the wheat between the weeds, right? This is a biblical thing. You don't have to be religious to use this. It's just an interesting fact that wheat and weeds look exactly the same. And as they grow, they look the same, but something happens at a certain point of their evolution. The wheat will begin to hang over because it's rich with, what is it, the barley or the wheat, I guess. It gets rich with the wheat, and so it begins to hang down, and it separates its look from a weed, which will keep shooting straight up. So sometimes you have to relook at the decisions that you've made to decipher between the wheat and the weeds. Okay, what are the things that you still love doing? What are the things you used to love doing that you no longer like doing, or gives you a bad feeling or a sensation that you kind of dread? And then you look at that and you change it and you adapt it. You look at yourself and decide, do I still agree with that decision? Do I need to adapt my decision making because things have gotten so big, and I have to adapt to it so that I can continue to grow and be happy at what I'm doing. And in this case, for me, that's exactly what I did. I realized that it had gotten so big that now I needed to go back and look at it, because I don't want to spend my time looking for people who are being deceptive. I want to spend all my time focusing on the people that are righteous, the people that are earning those certificates, right? And those are choices that you can make, because I could easily be going after the serial refunders. I could easily be focusing all of my attention on people that lie. But I don't want to do that, because I want to stay in the light. And I want to focus all my love and attention on the people that are also focused in the light. So the way that I do that is by simply tweaking my decisions, looking at the situation how it was and realizing that it didn't work anymore for the current situation. It worked back then, but it's not working now. And because my goal in life is to stay in love and light and happiness and joy and share that with everybody, and because my desire to have these righteous, good people as part of my community, I want to focus on them. So I just thought, what do I need to do to focus on them? Okay, well, now maybe we're at that point where I just kind of bake it into the cake that everybody needs to, when they reach out to me for a certificate, those people are just attaching the Udemy certificate as proof. Now, it does a couple of things, right? 100% of the people that are reaching out to me for that with the certificate attached are the good, righteous people that have great intentions. And I can see it right away. And that makes me really happy, because I know I'm not going to have to deal with that other side of it as much. I'm not going to have to be playing Dick Tracy so much, because I can see that certificate. The other thing it does is this is a bonus, right? It frees me up, because I'm not having to play Dick Tracy and go through all the, the resources and verifying, because I see that certificate that verifies itself. I can spend my time making that blissful certificate, and then I can spend more of my time recording and doing the things that I love. There's a whole lot of other things on the back end that I do, recording the courses for you, writing the modules, doing the memberships and planning what we're going to go over and spending time in that. There's so many other things to be focused on. And when that point came where I was feeling a little uncomfortable with having to focus so much time on the negative aspect, that was the alert for me that, something's changed. And all I simply did was say, okay, I'm going to step back a second. Something has changed. What changed? Everything got really big. Okay, it's a numbers game. You're going to get more people that are doing different things. The majority are doing everything exactly right on. What can I do? I went into problem solving mode. What can I do to change this? What do I need to do to turn this around so that 100% of my focus is going on all the good things that I love? And what I came up with was something that's actually quite easy for everybody else who's in POBA, because if they finish, they get a certificate, boom, it's already there in their inbox. And so it's no extra trouble really for them to send it to me. And it's great for me, because then it allows me to know right away, this is awesome, righteous person that I just love talking to, and giving them the POBA certificate. And then it really cuts down like 50% of my time, which was on the back end searching, making sure that these were all legit. Now I just go ahead and I can issue it with this new thing in place, and it's going to give me so much more time to focus on what I love. So the key ingredient in this, you guys, is to be focusing on what you love. And when you find that you are focusing even 50% of the things that you don't love in your current work, and this is whether you work a day job, an earth job, or whether you're working your own thing or you're doing half and half, anytime that 50% of your time is focused on the things that you really don't like, Then it's time for you to go back in and see what original agreements and decisions you made, what you need to do to change them, what's going to make you happy now, and then take that extra step to adjust it, make a new decision. And keep in mind that anything that you make a decision on, it's not a one and done. It's not over the minute that you make the decision, and you're not locked into any decision forever. Okay. In fact, you are evolving constantly. The nature of nature is to constantly evolve and grow and change. And that means the decisions that you made in the past have to be adapted and changed too. And that really is the key to your success and being happy, is to not lock yourself into some decisions that you made a long time ago, but to realize that everything is evolving, and so must your decisions. Okay, so I hope you guys like this Wisdom Wednesday. Please make sure you like, subscribe, and smash that notification bell so you get regular updates. I would love for you to look in the description below, become part of my meditation and channeling group if you'd like, or Facebook or Instagram. Get involved, be part of our community. I will see you guys next week. Talk to you soon. Bye. Bye.